My people, una good evening. I greet every one of una. Everywhere una for the watch me. Una know say for this platform, na news na go dey bring dey come. As we could talk about Paul Rusesabagina when they release for prison, also known as Hotel Rwanda. As una dey watch this video, my people, make una no forget to put una hand for like button, and also una put una hand for the share button. Una also drop una comment, and make una no hesitate to put una hand for the notification button, so that anytime I drop new video, I will be the first people who will get the notification. We could watch the video together. Watch the video.
A political activist whose story inspired the Oscar-nominated film Hotel Rwanda has been freed from prison. The release of Paul Rusesabagina came after months of negotiations between Rwanda and the United States. The outspoken dissident has permanent residency in the US, but was convicted of terrorism in Rwanda for his political activities.
The real face of the man, celebrated as a hero in the Hollywood movie Hotel Rwanda.
I'm happy, especially because at long last, what took place, what we experienced, is just the message going through. Slowly, people are just catching it up.
What took place was a genocide led by Rwanda state in 1994 against the country's Tutsi minority. 800,000 people were slaughtered in 100 days. In 2005, Paul Rusesabagina received the U.S. Medal of Freedom for helping shelter more than 1,000 ethnic Tutsis at a hotel he was managing at the time. But after the U.S. government handed him a medal for great deeds, in 2021, the Rwandan court handed Rusesabagina, who was an outspoken critic of President Paul Kagame, a 25-year prison sentence. Rights groups, the United States, as well as Rusesabagina's daughter, have called his case manipulated and flawed.
My father is Belgian, so the Rwandan authorities should have used legal means to bring him back to Rwanda. The decision to kidnap him and put him on a private plane to take him by force to Rwanda shows they do not believe in the legitimacy of the evidence against him.
Rusesabagina disappeared during a visit in the United Arab Emirates, reappearing days later in Rwanda in handcuffs. The human rights activist was arrested on terrorism charges, but he says his arrest was in response to his criticism of President Kagame. Now, a presidential order has commuted Rusesabagina's sentence, allowing for his release from prison in Kigali. He's set to be transferred to Qatar's capital, Doha, and from there to the United States.
Let's cross now to Felix Maringa in Nairobi. He has more on this story for us. Felix, what's behind Rusesabagina's release from prison? Was there pressure put on Rwanda officials?
Well, according to the Rwandan government, there was no pressure put on them, but all indicators show that there was actually pressure from all angles. Last year, when the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Rwanda, he mentioned the case, and there were jitters within the Rwandan government. And since then, there's been action, behind the scenes, meetings and everything. And people have been working towards the release of Rusesabagina and the allies that they were imprisoned with. There was also the influence of the Emir of Qatar, who until last week, they had a meeting with Paul Kagame, and that is when, according to media reports, the deal to free Rusesabagina was actually reached. And yesterday, President Joe Biden welcomed the news of his release, saying it was a happy moment, and he also thanked the U.S. officials for having had or taken part in ensuring that Rusesabagina actually gets freedom. Again, the legal advisor or the advisor to the Qatar Emir also on his Twitter pages was was very proud of the particular move that had been taken and said that Qatar was in the deep of the decision that was made to release Rusesabagina.
Well, Felix, just briefly, Rusedabagina is seen as a hero abroad thanks to the movie also, Hotel Rwanda. How is he perceived at home in Rwanda?
There's a mixed perception in Rwanda. Some of the people think that he actually used his fame to drive ethnic division and terrorism, while some of them think he was actually just being silenced, and some of them look at him as somebody who actually stood up to President Paul Kagame. He's been a critic of President Paul Kagame for so long, and so there's mixed reaction for his perception, actually. So some think he's a hero, some think he's a villain, and that is what people in the streets of Rwanda think of him.
All right, Felix Maringa and Nairobi, thank you so much for this.